little bit too much snow in the front of my yard to make it to walk on. I'm not the best at walking right now due to the stroke that I had back in 2020. But I wanted to share a little bit. As you can see, I'm all ready for the Browns game, win or lose. My sister bought me this hoodie for Christmas, so I'm definitely ready for the game today. But I'd like to talk a little bit today about our good friends that are homeless. You may know some, or you may not know that many. But on January 10th, Hope for the Community is planning a spaghetti lunch for our good folks that are homeless. Um, we would like to pass out hats, gloves, and scarves, and maybe some personal hygiene items to go along with it. And if you're able to make a small donation of any amount, you could do it through our Cash App, which is $Hope for Ohio. Again, that is Hope for Ohio. Or you could inbox myself or Candace Hudson. And if you'd like to drop hats, gloves, scarves, or some personal hygiene off, or some money off of this project, you can do that as well, or mail it to Hope for the Community at 1141 Oakwood Avenue, Columbus, Ohio 43206. As we're approaching our event, it's just a couple weeks after Christmas, because it would be on January 10th. It would really be nice if we could do this on a daily basis, but finances and not enough volunteers would prevent that, because these good people deserve to have a warm meal. And we don't know if they have kids, or what the situation is. It could be that they left a domestic violence situation, they got laid off from their job, or or they maybe they just got out of prison, but they need you know some good cheer and some help along the way, as most of us do or did. If I didn't have a family, I could have been homeless myself. I've been blessed, and with a family. My parents helped purchase this house. My sister has really looked out for me over the years. Without family, I don't think I'd be here today, and I don't really know where I would be. So, if we could just do a little bit more this year, if you run across somebody that looks like they just need a friend or somebody to talk to, go up there and say hi to them. Wish them happy, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Buy them a cup of coffee. I'm not suggesting that you give them money, because you never know what someone will spend the money on. We don't know if they're recovering addicts or they're still using or not. But there's always other ways that we can help these people, you know, with just everyday living. It'd be nice if in the future, if we would be able to open up something like uh, a daycare for the homeless folks, where they could come, play games, take a shower, have a nice lunch, instead of being out in the cold or the heat, um, all day long. As we know that most homeless shelters, you have to leave in the morning and then you have to come back between 3 and 5 or something like that. But it would be nice if something like that could happen in the future, and who knows? Um, if we could get some big donors that would be willing to contribute in something like this, that's a possibility. But right now, our main point is, let's give these folks a nice hot meal. Um, and let have them eat until they're full for a change. And help pass out some gloves, scarves, hats, and maybe some personal hygiene, or maybe even blankets if you have some. We're asking for the stuff to be new though, um, so that we could pass that out to them, and maybe they could have a little bit better day because of us. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to be homeless, having to wonder where your next meal would come from, or what you would do to support your family if you're homeless? It would be kind of sad. Hello, Margarita, how you doing? Also, maybe someday we can do a video together if you'd like on our YouTube channel. I would love to have you join us. That's another thing too, is if you'd like to be a guest on our YouTube channel, please let me know. If you're incarcerated and you've been out for some time and you're doing what's right, or if your organization, or if you work with the homeless or those coming out of prison, um, or if you're just doing something positive, please let us know. And we'd love to have you on. I tell you, without Candace's help, Hope for the Community, and also the former Fair Treatment Reform Grantee wouldn't have gotten as far as it did. So I got to give a lot of credit to Candace for always going the extra mile, and she's battled cancer in the past, and we've prayed for her on a regular basis. And if you could continue to pray for her, because that's not an easy task um, to go through, and she's really been a blessing to our organization. And when we started Hope for the Community, she was the first person that I really wanted to lead the charge for the group, because I knew things would get done. And she's very organized. Um, so it's just good to be able to connect with such good people over the years. People that actually care for one another, not people that want to toot their own horn and say, "Look what I'm doing." It's not about look what I'm doing. It's look at how can we help others in need. There's so many people out there that's just struggling. It seems to me that our economy is getting a little bit better now, but there's not enough housing that's available for these good folks, and we need to really step up and see how we can help them. This coming summer again, like last year. Last year was in May. I'm not sure if it's going to be in May or June this year. Usually I pick the wrong dates. It's either too close to a holiday, like last year was like a couple days for Mother's Day. So I'm going to try to pick it where it's not going to be that close to a holiday. But we had a heck of a turnout in the parking lot of the Church for All People on Parsons and East Whittier. We probably had close to 300 people that came in. We had a lot of vendors. Candace's grandson and friend from school cooked hot dogs. We had chips. And it'd be nice to be able to do the same thing this year. And we had different organizations there on recovery services, Department of Aging. Um, I think we had a college there, and different groups that work with um, people just in need. And we're planning on doing that again this year. I'm not sure exactly what the date will be as of yet, but I'm sure it would turn out good. There's so many um, people that do care, you know, um, but in society, it seems like everybody's so busy these days that we kind of sweep under the rug those in need. We just don't notice it because we're busy with our own schedule. If you ever drive up to, when you drive up to Walmart or the store, just look on the streets. You'll see a lot of homeless people, believe it or not. You may not know they're homeless at the time, but that's what they do. They have to watch the streets because they have no place to go, no place to warm up, no place to get a cup of coffee or a meal, or you see them on the side of the road begging for money. Sometimes they'll say, "We'll work for food," um, you know, so. But we have a responsibility. I especially think as Christians, we have a responsibility to help people in need. And I would really like to see it. Has nothing to do with any political party, This is both sides need to pull together on this, and you know, help with this situation. And let's see if we can make, you know, someone's life a little bit more pleasant. Um, you know, there's a lot of good people that are homeless. Um, the guy with the golden voice was homeless for a while. He became fairly famous with his voice. He's been to my house. I can't remember his name now. But he's done. He's been on some major talk shows and so forth. You know, he was a former crackhead. You know, and did some wrong things as most of us has. But I would like to really pull all the different organizations throughout the country to come together and maybe let's pick a local church or a local area in each state. If people from those states can organize it and do it on the same day, which is January 10th. Do a spaghetti lunch or brown bag lunch, you know, where you put peanut butter and jelly and, you know, and fruit and some chips or something. But, you know, we've done that a few times before, but the hot meal Candace came up with because these guys just don't get to eat too many hot meals. And yeah, there's churches that do feed the homeless, but sometimes if you have trouble walking or transportation, you just can't get to these local areas to be able to get something to eat. And then if you're still hungry after you're eating, you can't always go back for seconds. I would like to have this, you know, on January 10th, where if they want to come back for seconds, they can because there'll be plenty of food. Candace's senior center is going to actually prepare the spaghetti for us. We're buying the supplies, you know, and the hats and the gloves, but um, you know, but they're going to prepare the food for us. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to read this. Hi, Kaylee. Uh, uh, yeah, so we have that's my friend Callie there, or Tiffany, as some of us know. Um, but this is something that, you know, doesn't cost a lot of money to volunteer to help people. You know, that doesn't mean that any of us should be used, and I don't agree necessarily with handing money just to somebody because, like I said, you don't know if they're going to use it for drugs or alcohol. But buying somebody a cup of coffee or a sandwich or something like that is not going to hurt. I was with one lady years ago, and she's always been giving, you know. And I remember this one guy coming to the door. You got any money? We're hungry. And she reached in and gave them probably $10 worth of change. And I said, you know, you don't know what they're going to use the money for. It would have been better probably if we would have just bought them something to eat. But, you know, and I'm not saying everyone that is homeless is an addict or would buy drugs or alcohol with it, but I'd rather see us buy them food and give them something good to eat, you know, so that they could have nourishment in their system. Because it's a long day, you know, between meals when you're homeless. You have to wonder, especially if you got kids, you know, your kids have to come before you do. So it's a big responsibility to be able to, um, you know, feed your kids, you know, but, and then I'm just watching my cat Morris has a sister. Now, he's not necessarily the happiest cat, but this is Morris. See, he loves his basket, and his sister's over there sleeping on the couch. So let's if you're able to make a donation, like I said, you could donate through our Cash App, and this is only for those that can afford it. It is $Hope for Ohio, $Hope for Ohio. If you'd like to donate products, you could inbox myself or Candace Hudson, and you could drop it off, or you could mail it to Hope for the Community, at 1141 Oakwood Avenue, Columbus, Ohio 43206. And let's be part of the solution, folks, as I know we can be. There's a lot of hardship going around. There's a lot of people that might not speak English too well or communicate too well, and they're trying to you know find a place to stay or to eat a meal. I ran across a lady the other day, and she didn't speak any English, and I ended up buying her a cup of coffee. So I just pointed to my coffee cup, because us Americans don't speak more than one language normally. You have to be, these European countries now, some of them can speak 4, 5, 6 languages. I'm lucky if I could speak English good enough. And I guarantee some of these kids can't speak English good enough, because I've been called bro lately by kids and stuff that, when I was younger, you'd only call other guys bro, but now they're calling each other bro, girls and boys. The language has really changed over the years, guys. So let's be part of the solution, and let's work together to make Columbus and Ohio and the United States a better place to live. Let's remember our homeless people during the holiday seasons, and remember, go Browns. Win or lose, I'm a fan for life. Thank you, everybody.